Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Steve. Welcome to Steve Builds. Let's say hello to Stuart and Pritter Prawn and DJ Natty and Dark Neutrino and Sanity. How's everyone doing? Paul and Nathan, good morning. Or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Who else do we have? Zenbender and Jokernut and Chris and Cameron. Mike and Ken. Welcome to part 2 of the Enraged Rabbit Project's Carrot Feeder build. Hi, Jennifer and Jorg. So we're going to, let's see, updates for the week. What did I do this week? I had a really fun trip over to the headquarters of Ripcord, because building this carrot feeder setup, I was thinking about what I was going to do for spool management for it, and I've known that Ripcord was local for a long time, and I really relished the opportunity to go and check out their operation, and I took that opportunity. I purchased one of their acrylic rep boxes and went and visited with Pooch and William and the rest of the crew out there for a little bit. I took a V0.1 with me as a conversation piece and had a lot of fun. So, good morning, Mitchell and Super Goober and Squirrel Brain and Jokernut, BB's 3D, hi, and Scott. So what do we got here? It was bring your V0 day yesterday at Ripcord, yeah. So, hi Breckel from the Netherlands. Mitchell, nice shirt. Yeah, I picked up one of Nero's, here, let's go this way. The Crimpin' Ain't Easy shirts. I like it. I feel like Stream Element sizing was small. I did the measure between the armpits, and that would have put me at a medium. And I usually wear a large, so I went ahead and ordered a large, and it's still a little snug. Your mileage may vary. Cameron drove the STI for the first time since November. Whether it's fixed or not, no clue. I drove mine. I drove it out to Ripcord and drove it a couple of places recently. So. Hi, James and Kaylee. Now, Charlie is really itching to get in here, so give me a second. Let me let him in. Coming? Come on. Yeah. You figure yourself out. Hi, Brian. You're building an ARCF also? Good. And your rep rack? So my plan is I ran out of filament storage, right? So I had, let's see what I can, see if I can point this in reasonable. So that's much of my filament storage. And then if you go over there, that blue cabinet in the back is more filament storage. But I ran out. I had more spools hanging around. So I used to have, let's go up here. Okay, I'll lift it. I used to have a big wire shelf here, so I've replaced that with the these rep rack brackets that I cut out of some scrap Baltic birch. Oh, there's Charlie. And I'm not done configuring this because the rep box is probably going to go right here, and I'll put rep rack storage, spool storage around it. But right now, as it sits, I can fit 29 spools per row. So I need to buy more filament, I guess, is the message there, because I'm not going to fill it up. So, hey Delo, are the top panels on the 2.4 strong enough to handle Charlie? Yeah, I think so. I don't have a 350 build, but my 250s he could lay on there, but he doesn't. He doesn't really care about the printers and the warmth when they're printing or anything, or he hasn't discovered it. Yeah, I have far too many spools. So Charlie is here early. I made those last month from ABS, didn't take too long. Yeah, I cut those on my MPCNC. It took about 50 minutes for two of them. They're 12 millimeter thick Baltic birch, and I have not necessarily checked to see how fast I can go on that. I just did something that would work. So we will not be covering, I don't plan to cover the assembly of the rep box today on stream, but I do plan on doing it as part of this whole project. This is going to be a several part project because I'm going to put it on the orange and black switch wire, and it needs some work in order to accept that. So I'm going to switch it over to, I decided on a Galileo. This is an assembled one, but we're going to take the parts out of this and put it into appropriately colored printed parts for that printer. So we're going to go with the Galileo extruder, and it's also going to get a complete rewire job because most of the wiring in it is still silicone wire. So I reached out to Lineo, and they're supposed to send me a harness for it. So I'm going to run a tool head board on it and the harness. Got the prints. I made those ABS. Hey, Charlie, what are you going to use for a buffer? I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to try to build the buffer inside the rep box, or if I feel like it's going to be high enough and enough space between and only 4 spools, I may be able to just let it hang. What Hotend? So that printer already has the E3D Revo Voron, so I will probably leave that there. Hey, Golden Jaguar. Mitchell, how do you like Paramount ABS filament? It's fine. It prints fine. I think we've kind of figured a lot of manufacturers, the colors got paler more recently. Their iron red and the Enzo red both seem a little paler than similar spools or same color spools purchased further back. So I will be covering, I think the implication there from Sanity and stuff, I will be covering the oh, what is that? The other Hotend. I'm drawing a blank here. Too many things to think about. The other Hotend in a build soon. So let's see. Hi Angie. Is that green tray on my desk DIY for screws, nuts, and whatever? Yes, and it is available on printables. So if you search for less thin parts tray, you'll find it on printables. I published it there. It's a remix of someone else's, and I put all the remix stuff in there too. Yeah, one of the other Nimgria, who designed the V0, he loves iron red, and he was pretty disappointed his latest spool was not as vibrant, and so I had a spool, an unopened spool from the previous batches, so I sent that to him. Hi, Craft by Jazzy. I hope Charlie doesn't spend the whole stream up here. I'm going to send him down because he was a bit in the way last time. All the Hotends. Are there any you don't have? Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the main ones I have are the Dragon variants, Dragonfly. I have a couple of Rapidos, the Revo variants, and the... I'm sorry, Sanity. I'm completely forgetting the name of the one you guys sent me. That's going to go in the Ender to switch wire conversion. that I need to get printing on. I do have a Raptor. That's the one. Right? Is that? What is that? Proto print. This guy. Yeah, the Raptor. I do have a stock V6. It's on the Prusa Mark III. The Bear Mark III still has a stock V6. Everything starts with an R, right? Okay. So last stream we did, and Charlie, I'm gonna set you down. You need to go to sleep. Last stream we got this far on the assembly. We were into the selector. I haven't modded it. Oh, my Prusa. Well, it is a Bear setup, but the rest, and it has the Bondtech extruder on it, but the rest of it is, I guess, the controller and the Hotend are standard. Do you think the Bear upgrade for Mark III is worth it? It was a fun build. I think a lot of the parts, the printed parts, are Greg does a pretty good job with that, so I'm pleased with it. There were a few parts of this, assembling it last week, that I'm not happy with. There are some washers in these gates that aren't moving as freely as I think they should. And I think a big part of this build is taking extra time to make sure things are moving as they should, to save us some headache later. So we're going to work on that. I did find the Savox servo I had, so we're going to swap that out. And I was doing some test fitting, and once you put all these pieces together that the selector rolls on, the pre-cut 8mm rods are just slightly too long. And the reason for that is I had elected not to put a bearing support in here, which shortened the whole thing and is out of the expected stack up of parts here. So we're going to take it apart far enough to put one of these in there just to keep everything happy, and I don't have to grind down or drill out a part. So what model Savox is that? Let's see. There is no way I'm going to read this without swapping here. So it is an SH0255MG. I believe this is the one that came in the kit that the person who gave this to me bought from DFH. Hey, Yoann. All the R extruders and hot ends. Does that make me reeve? So let's start with partial disassembly here and pry these. Hopefully I can pry these selector gates, whatever they're called, out to swap out some. I don't know which are good or not. I reprinted them at a higher 0.12 layer height, hoping to smooth things out. So, hey Delmar. So let's get started. Okay. Yep, he's just sitting over on his pillow. Oh, well, thanks, Davey. I've got a mess in here, and I was cleaning until the last second, so and I forgot music. Hold on a second. Let me get that started. No, you don't want me to sing. My subscribership would plummet if I so much as attempt a note. Really want your honest opinion of the ERCF. I've used the Prusa MMU2, and it is a B to get working right. The MMU2 is, or the ERCF? I have an MMU2, but I couldn't give my opinion on it. I've done like 2 prints on it. I should break it out and hook it up to the Prusa, but where were we at? I am let's see. So I use Streambeats. What track do you guys want to see? What album? What do we got? Chill step, lo-fi, that kind of stuff. House. I'll take the first suggestion in chat that sounds reasonable to me. Ambient, EDM. I can't. There isn't a metal. My polka. Let's just go here. Yep. We're going that way. Let me make sure I'm logged in. Yep, I am. Good. And there. And we should get it going. Oh, hold on, give me a second. How loud is that? Is it fine? Let's give it a second for the stream to catch up. Hey, Emanuelito. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, so back to this. I'm disassembling some of it. There we go. So I can put that selector, the bearing support in. And then we're going to remove these. Oh, I'm not going to be able to pull all of those out. Yeah, they won't go past that, so I'll have to remove the Bondtech gears here too. Drop the volume 1 tick mark. Let's try it. Let me know how that is, Davey. Good morning, Joseph. What was I looking for? Only have to take 2 of these off. I'm going to put the spacer right in the middle. You don't hear anything now? Oh, it's there. Is it too low? Just somewhere in the middle. I don't think it matters. Since I'm doing a 4 position, I figure I'd put it in the middle to just keep it even. As long as it's there. If that bites me later, then hopefully it doesn't. Okay, so this has a this has a washer in there. You can kind of see the shiny bit of it. And when I turn this over, it does move pretty good. So I think this one's okay. So I'm going to leave that one alone. That one does not move freely. Wow, I'm terrible at catching the camera. Even with a little percussive persuasion, it doesn't. So let's pop this out. I'm just going to replace this whole assembly. I got a bit of it. I'm going to just take a small screwdriver and just... Come on. I don't want to mar up the plastic. Let's see if I can get it from this side. There we go. There. So this is position 3. So I printed a bunch of... I printed 2 each in a finer layer height of these. The magnet is supposed to pull the washer to close it up. Well, I think it pulls the washer to free up the path, because in its resting state, the washer is blocking this hole, this filament path. And as the selector moves along here, this magnet here pulls that washer up. And now if it pulls it up but doesn't drop back down when it leaves, then it's sticking as well. So if I take this one and just move this over, it's not pulling up either. I feel like this is going to be a big headache of this. And I don't know if it's a problem with the washers I have, because when I move that over that, yeah, that's the direction it's going to go. This is the selector, it gets moved across. And this magnet here is supposed to pull that washer up, and it's not pulling it up. So maybe I need to change that one too. Because if that doesn't get pulled out of the way, then filament can't be fed through. It blocks it from, and I suspect, I don't know, that's so just drag on the filament doesn't start pushing when the selector, this guy rotates the feeder, it doesn't catch on filament and push it into the way. Yeah, there is the double magnet in the key, but I should be able to. It's not even lifting, I mean, with the actual part. So if it doesn't lift there, then we got a problem. So I'll work on that one too. This is one, I'm gonna set this aside. Now I noticed in my bin of washers, some of them have more of a lip on them than others. Probably different sources or just variations within the same supplier. So I'm gonna look at these closely and try to pick one that I can have to do minimum file work on to get them smooth. Hey, Andres. See the first layer of bridge line is hanging on the washer. Yeah, I was looking at that too. So I'm gonna examine this very closely. And very carefully, just kind of not a lot of pressure. Making sure things are clear. And then I'm going to look for a washer. Oops. Those look pretty good. I'm going to take my file and just get rid of any bit of stamping flange. And it's hard to file this little piece. Light pressure. Here. There is I got a bunch of these extra pieces here. I can put this maybe in the center. No, that didn't work. I'm just filing plastic. There we go. Get it started. But I've said this a few times already. Just the whole taking extra time on these steps, I think, is going to pay off in trouble later. I want this to work first try. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to be switching glasses a lot today. Just a little bit removed, and then I'm going to set this in. In here. It is definitely a bear to get in there, so that's not a good sign. Is that a larger washer than some? Hi, P3. Oh, there we go. So let's take the, where did that thing go? Here's the little test piece. And it doesn't drop back down. This is going to be the bear of the build. Does anybody build one of these? Have any other suggestions on this? Maybe my washer selection is just really poor. I'm using cheap steel washers. I may need to order some of the zinc plated ones recommended in the sourcing guide from Bolt Depot. Let's try this again. I'm just going to make sure we are clear on bits and pieces in here. I'm not really cutting. I'm just barely scraping. Okay, let me try selecting. Some of these seem to be slightly different diameters too, so let's try this one. There we go. Okay. Any idea when I'll allow memberships? Oh, this one fit in way better. When I get to setting it up. I'm so terrible at that. Let's try throwing this one in here. This is 3. That must be this one. Now let's use the tool they have here just to make sure that that doesn't fall out, because this one can fall out. It's loose enough. And I'm hoping that's a good sign. Push that in there. Now that falls into place. When we come across, it does lift. It's not lifting reliably, but it does drop back down. Oh, there it goes. Okay, that's doing it every time, so I'm going to call that one okay. I may be overthinking it. Are you talking to me or someone else? Any idea? Check the washers with a magnet. My blackish ones are not magnetic enough. Yeah, I feel like I may need to just order some of the sourcing guide ones. I think I will do that. We're going to make these as free moving as possible today. I'm going to just go through and make them all like this. And not spend a ton of more time on it. So let's just go through and pull these. Oop, yep, that one has to come out. I just cracked it. Yeah, that's okay. So that one I'm gonna ditch. I gotta find the number 2. I've already done a 3, so I'm gonna throw that in the box there. Find a 2. Now I had cleaned up, so I have a 0 already cleaned up. I'd done that testing stuff before. Here's a 2. So Mad Chemmy, $5. Only have a quick moment, but saw your streaming, Steve. Howdy from Team DFH. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you for that. So a little bit of basic cleanup here. Okay, and then select another washer. Let's go with this one. These are so much variation in these washers. That one goes up. Let's see how it does here. Yep. And then it drops down, so we'll call that one okay. Let me put this on so I don't lose that washer and it stays in the right spot. Okay. So 2 and 3 are good. These I know were not good, but I have a 0 here that's good. So let's try to pull this out. See how hard this is to do while it's in the thing. There we go. That wasn't too bad. This is one that I had tested before, so I'm just going to put it in. Yep, and it falls out. That's good. One more. And we need a number 1. There we go. Okay, that away. And one more washer. I think this one will do it. It just catches and there's not enough. There we go. That looks smooth. Hi, Pavel. That one moves good. Okay. What do we got that? I'm just unlucky with cans. Enormous melon syndrome. I feel that. I have to buy very large ball caps. Okay, so this bearing spacer, bearing support, just gonna clean off, make sure it can sit flat in there. And then a MR85 bearing. Oh, that might not be the right one. That's M95. I grabbed the wrong thing. I read it wrong. Hold on. Let's see. There's the MR85s. Well, I only have 2 left. Order some of those. So this goes in here. There's a little bit of a tight squeeze. Let me see. I printed out a few of these bearing blocks. I put one in here. This one might work better. I had at some point in printing all these, I had adjusted my extrusion multiplier. It was too high. So let me try this one instead. Oh, that's interesting. It's a different block. Why does that one have... One of them has a cutout here. The other one doesn't. What is the difference? Well, let's go with this one. Let's use my handy dandy Knipex wrench to push this in. Uh-oh. There we go. Let's find out if we can see something in instructions that explains that. It is warm in here too. Those wrenches are nice. This is the first major project I've used for them. Okay, this is where we left off in the manual last time. So let's skip back a little bit and look for the spot where they talk about the bearing support. So we're gonna go back. P3, $4.99, thank you. Let's keep going. So we did all this. And at some point there is a... Well, they already covered that. Did I skip right by it? Or is it just kind of... No. Did I skip by it? Page 38. Thank you. I'm going back and forth between... Okay. Bearing insert. Every 3 bearing blocks and every 3 filament blocks insert a bearing block, except for the last filament block of your ERCF unit. Okay. The question I had is, of the parts I printed, these are the same part, but this one has that half circle there, and this one does not, and I don't know why. But the picture in the manual has the half circle, so we'll use that one. Did you print the pass-through mod? I didn't print any mods. Okay, we'll just go with this one. For a 2.4 to R2 conversion, is it okay to leave the 1mm foam tape? Yes, as long as your panels don't rub. It's just 3mm gives you more flexibility there, more room for air with warp panels or whatever. Is it okay to keep using the old STL and the old compressor feet? Absolutely. There's nothing groundbreaking about R2. You can use the old compressor feet with the new Z drives too. They fit just fine. So this goes on. Right, like that. Does the half circle one have support material? Yeah, well, yeah, I poked it out. I broke it off. It has a filament path through the block, but mine did not have a mount for the foot. Oh, is that what this? Oh, I don't know. The solid one you showed looks like it has supports in the cutout. The cutout line is visible. Bill, yeah, those pliers are really nice. Okay, let's put this all back together. This is 012. Oh yeah, I pushed one of these. Pushed one of those through, so maybe I need to hold those. Nope. Put a, I'm gonna have to pop that out. Which way does that go? I believe 2 will be okay. Joe. Are these too tight if I can't get them out easily? There we go. Okay, so I just needed to see what direction this... So move this up. This in here. And then we can put on this. Pop this one out. I think the one you have, the one that ERCF is the stock part, the other one is the mod. Okay. So Dead Bob, I did decide I wasn't going to use the bearing block, but because of the length of the rods and everything, the stack up of parts was wrong for the kit. So I put the bearing block back in there just to space everything out correctly. If you place it after block 2, you'll have to alter the config settings. I would have had to alter it anyway, not using one, right? So that's okay. I think it's okay. We're learning, right? If that lesson is pulling this apart and switching it around, then so be it. Okay, you've convinced me. I'm gonna move it to position 3. I want to minimize headaches later. I am going to do that. So position 2 here. Oop, we need a BMG gear. That goes through there. And then we're going to put this on position 3. The whole idea is take extra time now to save work later, right? So let's take the extra time now to, even though it looks off and lopsided, we'll go with it. Okay, so that all goes like that. And then this will go on the end. Now it looks a little off center, but technology adjusts that. Isn't that the 180? I don't know what this, let me look at it. I don't know which the sizes are. I bought a 3-pack. So I have this. I have 3 different sizes here. This is the 250, the 180, and the 150. Yeah. I don't need to move it. We did it. I'm not going to take it apart again. During the setup, I will measure the location and specify and config. Okay. Well, we will leave it since I've done it. Oop. Magnet there. Snug. Now we can put these guys back on. Were these numbered? No. Oh, no, we can't. We gotta tighten our line up. So here's my filament I used before. And a little piece of ETFE was used to help keep that centered. There we go. Now, switch the glasses. Make sure this is nice and centered on here. There we go. Repeat. Go. Right, like that. Where are we at? $328 eyeballs? Oh, yeah, that's about right. Surprised to find an IPEX at the local Canadian Tire. Yeah. Hi, Wolfgang. Okay. Okay, now we put the, whatever these are called, on there, and that went in well. There we go. Okay. Everybody has 2 eyeballs. Is that an assumption? Hopefully everybody has 2 eyes. Okay, bearing block is on. I did not put 2 heat set inserts in there. It doesn't have spots. Oh, that's for the end piece. Yes, I put those on. We did that last time. Did the gear alignment. Now we assembled most of this. Now, I dug into my stash of genuine Bondtech gears for the encoder. Seems like quite a waste to use a genuine Bondtech gear in this guy, where all it's doing is triggering that sensor. So I bought I think the same gears that came in the rest of it. So I'm going to swap that out. So I keep that genuine set for another project. Where on average everyone has less than 2 eyeballs. Yeah. Part number for the Savox servo. It is the SH0255MG. Hi, PJ from the Netherlands. Okay, so that's going to go there, and we're going to pull this assembly out. That there. So I don't get these mixed up, I'm going to immediately put this back in my Bondtech bag. That can be used elsewhere later. Probably on the switch wire, on the Ender 3 to switch wire build. Why is Steve using the bearing block now? I thought he was skipping it entirely. Because of the stack up of the spacing of parts is wrong now. So running it is better for this. Oh, where'd my grease go? A little bit of, I think running it will be better for this. And I don't have a paper towel in here, so give me a second because I need one. Now, this can go in here. And the other side. Okay. Don't need those now. Light shield is in. And last screw. SH0255MG. Yeah, that's the. And this still moves freely. And when I run filament through here, it moves. Hi, Maker Viking. Welcome. Yeah, I didn't realize, it didn't occur to me that spacer was going to be a problem last stream until I was fiddling with stuff after stream. I realized, oh yeah, that's not going to go well. Okay. And then there is still this screw here that adjusts the height of the optical sensor. So we're good there. There is not a filament runout sensor built into the CW1 or CW2. With Clipper, because of the way it queues up commands and stuff, a filament runout sensor close to the tool head doesn't work well. Okay, I think we're close to getting back to in line with the instructions. Oh, I need to swap out this this servo. So I have the generic, I don't even know, MG90S in here, just purchased off of Amazon, and it was suggested that the Savox is better, so we're going to go with that. So hopefully I've got enough threads here, because there's a difference. There's a spacer for the Savox servo. If you look at the servos side by side, let's take the horn off of here. If you line up the flanges, the Savox is shorter on the flange side. So there is a printed spacer, just a little piece here, that goes underneath to space that out to be in line with the other one. So now this that goes in there, and then let's see if we have enough. I don't know, I might need to find some longer screws in order for this to tighten down with that spacer. Oh, it caught, so I think we're okay. As long as I'm really gentle with the, don't strip it. So that I'm calling good. Nope, that was a part of a zip tie. Let's see if I have any. Yep, there's a zip tie. These tiny zip ties sometimes break. Oh, where's my zip ties? I want the small ones. Get a few out here. Broke a zip tie. Yeah, this type of system, you need some, when you're using the same nozzle to extrude your different materials or colors, there's no way to evacuate all of the previous material or color between changes. So you need to purge it. So you need to extrude until the new color is there. So that's where the waste comes in. Whether you're doing it with pellets or a purge tower, there is some level of filament waste. Sometimes it's significant. So you're most efficient printing a lot of the same part. That way you need one purge tower for many parts. See ya, Bill. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so king seat is the pellet solution, right? So the extruder moves over and just extrudes a pellet of plastic, and then that flings it out of the way or puts it into a waste receptacle of some sort. Okay, that is good. Go back to the manual and see where we're at. So I press those in. I did the cable chain mount. Forbidden Skittles. Yeah, they're right about Skittle size, huh? We use the Savox adapter. The SH0255MH. I'm using the MG. Use the screws for the servo kit you have. If you're using the Savox, use two M2x10. I do have 2x10s, but I got enough plastic there. I think it'll be fine. Printed as purge on a running belt that dumped it out of the way. Okay. The only thing about that is you have to leave enough room to move to the same Z height as the belt, right? Okay, I got all this done. This is the filament detector encoder setup. Oh, that's something I didn't do. Oh, that's 623 bearing. Yeah, I found those. Where did I put those? I found them. And I put them somewhere. Did I put them in here? No. It's MR85. Okay, I might have to go on a little treasure hunt here. Where are the... I think these are them. Yeah. Found it. Little tiny bearing. Not as small as the MR85s, but. So this is the piece we were missing last time. This bearing goes up in here with a M3x20. Not one of the... M3x20 right here. Charlie was a tear last stream, knocking things off my workbench. Okay, where do we got here? Does this just thread into plastic? It looks like it. That is a lot of plastic to thread through. If you're using the MG, do you still use the spacer? Yes, because of the height of the spacer puts the output shaft at the same point. Without it, the Savox is a much slimmer servo in that spot. Hi, John. Oh, that whole thing moves. Okay. Hold that so I don't break it. And then just to touching. I'm not sure. Oh, is that for the filament to ride through? Okay. Okay, so using some 1.75 filament, check that the BMG gear spins well, and it does. We tested that before. I put the sensor in there already. And I have the one with the off-center hole. And then I put the encoder, that whole assembly is together. I didn't straighten these sensor pins. They are coming off of here at a right angle, so let's just take each of those and straighten them. Just very gently. That. Do you have membership tier names all chosen? You know, I need to just do that because I think I'm just going to go one. I think I'm just going to go one. I'm tired of trying to figure out if I want to do multiples or whatever. I'm just going to do one. It's going to be a low price, and call it good. Anyone have any idea how much of an investment it is for a tool changer for a Voron 2.4, say 5 or 6 colors? Now, are you talking tool changer like E3D style tool changer, or filament swap like this? Tool changer, I don't think even a mod exists for the 2.4. Yep, it'll be something like Friends of Charlie or something like that. Yep. Because really it comes down to I'm here having fun. It's not, I have a good day job. I don't, I'm here because you guys are fun to hang out with, and I like building stuff in this fashion. This really helps me get to projects that I want to do anyway. If I wasn't doing this on stream, I have no idea when I would build this. I would find some way to put it off, working on whatever other things. So this actually helps me to get projects done and stuff. Hey, Martin. Okay. Selector cart goes on there now. I think we're ready to put the selector cart on, right? I straightened those, all that works. So I need an M3 by 8 and M3 by 20s. Put the M3 by 20s back. I think. Nope, there's M3 by 20 and M3 by 8. So let's go here. Oh, that's button head. I don't want the M3 by button head. I want the socket head. Where are the socket head ones? I got one loose over here. My last name is Builds. Exactly. Builds is my middle name. Oh, I didn't even think about that, Dead Bob, if there would be any copyright issues there. Stream cleaning my office so I would be more apt to do it. There you go. Do a shop tour / cleanup day. Martin, €5. Thank you. Steve's pension plan. Exactly, DJ Natty. Exactly. Okay. That is now secure. What else do we have here? Not sure what that hole is for yet. We will find out. We are here for Charlie. Steve is a bonus. That's right. Charlie's asleep. I told him, go to sleep. He went to sleep. Hey, Dennis. Gate key and belt tensioner. So there's a bit of a filament hinge, and this guy here, and the belt tensioner. Okay, I already put the heat set there. Okay, so this guy goes in here, and there's a filament hinge. So we might as well just use this piece we've been using. Let's make sure this goes through everything. And that is, I mean, it does. Yeah, that'll go. It's a little tight. And I've got a little bit of support material still in there, so let me take care of that. Oh, no, it was just not even really stuck to it. Now this filament has gone through an extruder, so let me grab a fresh bit of filament. It might fit better. Can ERCF double as a runout sensor that cycles through a bunch of short spools to finish them off for one? Continuous use. I think that's enabled now. I'm not positive though. Charlie's angles? Oh, where did that spool of red go? This will work. Where was that? There we are. Does that go through better? Not really. It is just a little tight. Let's I want that to be tight. So let me get all this stuff out of the way. A little drill index here and find one that's 1.75. Is that right around here? 1.9. .73. Let's try that. Just clean it out a little bit. That filament go up. There we go. There's a little bit of friction to it. Okay, so that goes in there. Let's see if I shouldn't have put that drill bit away. Make sure, ew, had some ugly cooling there on that print. Pull that out again and clean this out. Hey, Evil. I like the filament path. Yeah, Ivan does some good stuff, some cool, clever solutions. Let's go the next size up on that. I just guessed on which one I was grabbing anyway. Hi, Fridays for beer. There we go. Oh, okay. Now that goes in there, and hopefully that will go through there. It's nice and tight. Cut it flush. And then oh, that's nice. So there's a little clever little kind of cup spring there, and then a feature on there, and that actually snaps into place and holds pretty good. I like that. And then this guy, is this just kind of a spot to hold this for maintenance? It doesn't really fit in there. I do have some drooping on the print there, so let's see if we can clean that up. Maybe it'll fit better. There we go. Cool. I did beer on Saturday, so probably no beer tonight. Bike ride tonight to make up for the beer on Saturday. Cool. I like it. Quick recap on current build. Rabbit is some sort of MMU. Exactly. It is a automatic filament selector. Okay, belt tensioner. Insert the belt tensioner and just engage the M3 screw. No need to screw it in. So that's a piece that's probably in here. That's this guy. And this goes in here, and that slides in there, which is a good sign. And then one more in 3x20 that just gets kind of set in there for right now. Not tightened. Okay. What kind of bike? I like to road bike and mountain bike. However, what I do most of is road biking solo. I don't like to ride in a group. Mostly because I can step out my front door and go on a road ride. There's a very good network of trails in the area, paved trails that I ride on. So today I'll actually drive over to a friend's and we'll hit that same trail just further up town. I have a 10-year-old Villiers Gran Turismo. I like it. It's carbon, it's light. I've done very little maintenance, had to do very little maintenance on it over the course of owning it. Okay, so filament tension is there. And now we're going to put this all together. So we got a bearing and an M5 and a nylock nut to put that together. Okay, I've got that. Oh yeah, bicycle, not motorcycle. Let's see how well these roll. They roll pretty good. No, I need this, the exercise. I need this shirt to fit better. It's slightly snug. So that's gonna go in there, and then we should have, that's M5 by 30. We need the 16. And the nylock nuts. There's the nylock. I've been keto does work. I did keto last summer and lost 30 pounds, but I've gained 20 of it back because I didn't keep it up. I let the holidays be a good excuse to not keep it up. So okay, well, that said, Kyle, hey Steve, I'm so excited. My Trident is almost complete. Awesome. I'm impressed with how simple assembly was compared to my 2.4. Is that a square drippy bucket? It is a square drippy bucket. That says M5 by 16. That does not even catch threads. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's not catching threads. I don't think I've got it pushed, the nylock nut pushed in there all the way. Let's grab a longer nut first. I'm gonna grab a 30 and pull that nut into place. I don't think it's pulled in, and just pushing wasn't doing it. Yeah, there we go. Oops, sorry. I was just pulling that nylock nut into its pocket, and now the 16 should fit. Should thread in. I switched strictly carnivore, already down 17 pounds. Yeah, it's quick. And I actually felt really good when I did full keto, almost no carbs. I was low energy when I was exercising for a while, but at a certain point, I stopped noticing it. Yeah, DJ, this is a large in US sizes. Okay. Oh, I was going to show Kyle my drippy bucket. This is atomic carbon fiber PET G and Cruciment neon green, or neon green PET G. I really like this green, but I'm just using it as a little waste bin. This is off of printables. I took the STL and hacked the handle because it normally has a handle. I hacked the handle bosses off, and then I went ahead and just got rid of the logo so it would print a little better. Is this the latest version of the ERCF? It is 1.1. I did need the strength of the carbon fiber. I mean, I can put a lot of trash in here and it needs to be able to handle it. here we are. I hit the wrong button. Now where'd my mouse go? Here we are. Okay, that's done. Do we have all of the inserts on here? That's this piece, right? I did not do any of the inserts on here. Okay. Insert time. I once got my Discord partner merch from US and forgot the US sizes are way bigger. Yeah, I got a couple of shirts from a white shirt from LDO and I ended up getting it correct, but it's like a 2XL or something. How did you go about modifying the file? No, it was an STL. I imported it into Fusion 360 and did the mesh to whatever conversion, and then cleaned up the faces and deleted those features. I love the green. Never had terrific luck with Pet G, but hardly tuned for it. Come to think of it, just been enjoying ABS. ABS is a lot of fun to print. Pet G is very hygroscopic, so make sure, not as bad as nylon, but you will have more luck with Pet G if you dry it before you print. Okay, that's going, that's going. Where all are we putting these? All over the place. Okay, and then I've got a piece here that needs, is that the one that I printed? Yeah, there we go. That's the one I reprinted. Okay, inserts on all these pieces. And go. Couple over here. And I think that's it for this piece. These go on this side. Charlie stirring. There we go. I think that's all of them. We need a West Coast rep for our festival, right, John? We need something like that. I've got a switch wire to give away when we do that. Okay, so those are good. And then apparently this bolts to the side here, according to the next bit of the oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. That bolts with a couple of M3x8s. A couple more here. This like that, that like that, apparently. Oh, he uses lenses. I use loop for inserts. Yeah, these are 5 times magnification. They are pretty significant. I love them. It's kind of annoying having to swap, but I've tried the little hood type things, and it's less annoying than those. We need a Bay Area rep firmware. We need a BARF. Yep. Yeah, the next event I could drive to. That switch wire will get given away. Somehow. No plans, but that's the idea. Okay. That's on. And then we put, oh, we need a NEMA 17 pack. Oh, I forgot to grab one of those. What am I going to use? Need a NEMA 17 pancake. Well, we're taking the M4s off of the switch wire. So, we will use one of those. But can I get one of those off of the switch wire? Yeah, it'll only take a couple of seconds. Let me grab one of the M4s off of the switch wire. I got a screwdriver. I think this will be enough. Let's pull this. What is going on? Is that Charlie? No. Oh, that's my son outside. There we go. I'm gonna leave one of these switch or these M4s assembled because I want to have one still on the shelf, but I'm gonna grab the stepper off of this one. Can you guys hear the lawnmower going on in the background? My son just started mowing our lawn. Sound deadening might be taking care of it. There we go. We'll leave most of that together. Well, we'll use the one that it came with. No background noise? Okay, good. Okay, pancake stepper. And it looks like motor wires are coming out from this side. Okay. Looking at this. Everything going there, and we got a bunch of M3x8s. And a little, make sure that those surfaces are flat. That goes in there like that. Now let me grab some M3x8s. I think I've used them up for what came in the kit. It only takes them about 10 minutes to mow the lawn. We got a tiny yard, so even if you can hear it, it should be gone soon. Okay, that feels like it wants to cross thread. What is going on there? Let's try that again. There we go. Yeah, I'm in the Sacramento area, but I'm across the Sacramento River, so I'm actually in a different county even than Sacramento, but I work in Sacramento and I'm only 3 miles away from where I work. No, my son is mowing the lawn. That's his chore. Okay. So that went together fine. My lawnmower is called Evil HOA. I'm so glad I don't have an HOA. I'm in a relatively new neighborhood, relatively. My house was built in 2004, but no HOAs. What are your plans for mounting the filament? I'm thinking about doing a rep box, but would need to mount it under the table that my printer is on. So my plans is for a rep box. I bought one and picked it up from Repcord because they're semi-local. They're about 40 miles away. And I'm gonna mount it up on these French cleats that I installed yesterday. Okay, let's go back here. So I got this assembly done. And now all of this kind of goes together, and this is the problem I had. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is the problem I had with leaving that bearing spacer out. There wasn't enough room to do this next part. I got that. I got those. Okay, so I think we're good to put this together. So idler side, we're gonna insert fully the 8mm smooth rods. And there are holes to check the rods are well in place. And then on motor side, we don't fully insert the rods in the motor side for now. Let them in the kind of a central position, and then we use the, I guess we use the M3x16s to make sure everything's lined up. I'm not sure how I'm going to mount the ERCF yet. It's going on a switch wire. And it's probably going to, let's see if I can get this without too much trouble. It's probably going to mount right here. And then the rep box is going to mount to the French cleats up here. I'm going to rearrange this is just mocking up my filament storage. But I'm going to have a rep box up there, and then these rep racks that I machined out of plywood will give me all the filament storage I can need. I purchased the clear acrylic version of the rep box. Put it on a V0. There's not enough room for the purge block. Okay, so we are going to grab these rods and put them fully inserted into this piece. There's a little, you can see the rod there on the end. So fully inserted into those two. And then the selector, and then the other piece. So, and then that's gotta go like that, I think. Yeah, just like that. And then this guy, that just goes in there somewhat, not all the way. It seems to move smooth. And at its full travel here, the servo is not, and the zip tie I used is not getting in the way of it hitting its travel here. Ret box is cool, but what about a Nero's nest? I'll go with the ret box. Okay, I need M3 by 16. And these two just thread in right here. And these are going to be used to make sure that everything lines up and kind of makes these rods, effectively makes the distance between the ends adjustable. Do you have any inside info? How does it look like with the king seat update? I have, honestly, I have no idea. With a ret box, you won't need any sort of rewinder, just some slack PTFE. I think you're better off with some sort of rewinder. I'm hoping that since I've only got a 4 position and I've got a pretty significant distance, I think, between that and the carrot feeder, that I can just, and nothing here for it to catch on is the other thing. I'm hoping that I can just let it kind of hang. But I'm prepared to try other things if I need to. It seems to run smooth enough. What's king seat? It's just another nozzle purge solution. It makes a pellet over on the side of the printer instead of generating a purge block. And then the belt. So install the pulley and belt. Don't tighten the grub screws on the pulley yet, nor tension the belt. Okay. So how does this... Okay. I've got an idea of how this goes. I've got a very short belt here. It appears to be the same stuff as Gates. It's probably Gates. And the pulley goes on here, flange side down. So I'm just gonna guess and just touch it. Go down a little more. That looks about right. Okay, the belt is gonna go here, and then I think one end is just going to push into some printed in spot on this cartridge, and then I think I can push this in with a screwdriver just to get it all the way in there. There we go. And then this comes around and then goes to there. Now I want to make sure that this has plenty of adjustments. So I'm going to take this out until it releases, and then just a couple of threads in. I think I've got tons of belt, so I'm just going to cut this and figure I'm going to be really close. does the same thing, just pushes into this adjustment thing here. Be able to see this better. There we go. Print settings must be okay. Those weren't too hard to press into those spots. And then this screw here is for adjusting tension. I think I've got the alignment just fine. Okay. This page is intentionally blank. I think we're getting down to it. We put this on with a couple of nylock nuts. Where did I put those? Nope, not there. Nylock nuts. Oh, I've got 3 left. I'll just put that one there for now. Let's get rid of that. Trash. So these nuts go into pockets in here. Looks like, is that right? There's a pocket right there. That goes in. And then is there a pocket? Yep, there's a pocket on this side. That has a press in with your fingers, but not fall out fit, which is good. And then that must be the M3x30s. Hey, Sanity, you're saying you printed with Polymaker Polylite ABS. And that's what I used on my, on the LDO 2.4 kit build I did. That gray was Polymaker Polylite ABS. Oop. I didn't notice this before, but I was looking at this afterburner tool head and it got quite melty with a dragon. Have you printed a tool head out of it, and what, or anybody, what's your experience with that? Okay, so this goes together like so. This thread's in here. And that was, so if anybody remembers, I built that printer with the afterburner, and I think I did 1 print on it between building it and switching to the stealth burner. So I thought it was interesting that that was so melty so quick. Okay, so just tightening these in 3x30s. Just to touching. Make sure this still moves but doesn't wiggle. There we go. Okay, back to the instructions. Idler adjustment. Okay, so we're going to use the 2 M3x16s on the selector motor support to finally adjust the 8mm smooth rod's position, and hence the idler position. If you unscrew those, make sure to push the rods in so they're still in contact with the screws. Okay. Make sure the 3 small slots on the idler match the gearbox top panel bumps. Where is that? Once the tuning is done, lock the linear axis using the 2 gearbox side latches. What are those bumps they're talking about? Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Okay, so there are a couple of, I think they're talking about, there's printed bumps here that line up with spots on here. Now, we're going to loosen these. Move those out of the way. And when this goes into place, it's not lining up yet. So we are going to tighten these, which is also going to tighten that belt. Fan saver mod for my V0 I printed in Polymaker black and it melted from the Dragon. So that fan saver I printed in Polymaker Polymax PC. It seems to work pretty well. Uh-oh. Yep, I screwed up. It's pulling the belt too tight. So I probably need to do this and then put the belt on, because I didn't know this was this far off. So let's see how this is doing, lining up with these. Yeah, everything's clamped down now, but now I've got too short of a belt. That was my bad. I can hear it moving those washers as I move it, so that's good. So we're just going to pull this out and do the belt. I think the instructions could probably be tweaked. I would do the belt after adjusting this. So let me grab another length of belt. At least it's very short and I have lots of spare bits. Lots of offcuts. So let me just find something. See, I mean this. See if I can find something even shorter. I'll just use that one. Yeah, Jan, this is a fairly complex build. Lots of little things to pay attention to. Why didn't you go full 6-channel ERCF? That's what people usually build. I agree, but this was given to me by another member of the dev team, DFib. He had bought it as a 4-channel and decided not to build it. So that's what I have, is the 4-channel setup. Yeah, so I'd probably suggest to revise the instructions to indicate the installing the belt after you set this length, because that was a significant difference. But at least the belt is easy to run, and it's, on this one at least, it's such a short length that I've got tons of spare. I'm gonna cut another tooth off of that. Thanks for being here, Evil. I'll catch you later. Probably got another hour or so here. Okay, so that's in. And then that can be tension, but I don't want to tension it yet. So now the belt is in. I don't know if I weaken this part by forcing the belt, the tension on that. So I do not have a spare of that printed, so hopefully it'll be okay. It's easy to swap though, it looks like. Oh, doing some sunset FPV flights. That sounds fun. I haven't done any drone stuff. That's always been on my wish list of projects to work on, is build an FPV drone. I just haven't gotten to it. Idler position. We just did that. Belt tension. Align the pulley with the belt and then use thread locker on the grub screws. So we did. I made a good guess and it looks fine. I think I'll leave it. Wire management. Users of ERCF Easy Board, skip this wiring step. Okay. ERCF feet. Install the gearbox bottom panel and the other ERCF feet. Okay, so there's a gearbox bottom panel. I have that. That's this guy. Looks like that all goes on the bottom here. This must go like that. Cool. Legally, you just can't fly drones almost anywhere here. We have, oh yeah, all the airports. There's a pretty good field near my house that I think would be fun. I'm assuming you probably need some sort of spotter. In any case. Bottom of the gearbox. And a license. Okay. Pretties it up and looks like it gives it a bit of a mounting spot. This is looking good. It's looking like a full thing. Of course, I took my thumbnail pictures this way, which is the back side. I should have turned it around to this side. And there is a bracket here. Is that this bracket? Yeah. This bracket goes over here. Okay. But does it blend? It might if you turn it fast enough. You know what I keep forgetting to use? Pull it out here. I keep forgetting to use my electric screwdriver. Yeah, that's what I get the feeling that all of these regulations are really spoiling the fun, even at a small hobbyist level. And what is this bearing insert feet? Do I actually need that one at this short of a device? Probably not, huh? But I do realize that I didn't break out some support material. In this bearing insert, there's some supports that probably come out. Let's see if I can. There we go. Oh, and that's what these little things. Went in. I see. I'm not going to put that in right now. Okay. Now it sits nice. Somewhat. A little. There we go. Do you know offhand what model you used on the switchwire 2-into-1 filament adapter? What model? Yeah. Here, let me sidetrack here for you, Printer Prawn. If we go to switch wire GitHub. No. Back up. Here, let's go there. But I don't want to go to the switchwire repo. I want to go to the Afterburner repo because this is the most up to date right now. If you go to the Afterburner repo and go to the STLs and for Bowden and do the dual, this is the model. This is the most up to date 2-into-1 adapter. So go to the Afterburner repo. For all of the Afterburner pieces, right now the Afterburner repo is the most up to date because I updated it 4 days ago. So mostly adding the Revolvoron and the Rapido tool heads for Afterburner. But I also made sure all of the cross bridge unsupported countersunk holes were done on the whole model. There were a couple that were missing. Oh, and also fixed the few of the insert holes were 4.8 millimeters instead of 4.7. So. Gilroy Garlic Festival. I've been to Gilroy Gardens. We took our son there when he was young. Will there be same contraption in place of Clockwork? Clockwork 2, you mean? I don't know. Not yet. It's not being worked on. I wonder if there's a good reason to have the Afterburner files in every repo separately. There's better ways to do it. We've talked about it. It's not easy to organize. ERCF feet. I'm going to call those done. And then the drag chain goes between those bits and pieces and the wires go that way. Okay, let's go ahead and install the drag chain. So this goes this way and this is going to install there. I'm going to use, it says socket heads. I'm going to use the button heads that came with it. Wherever those went, there they are. Is there going to be any CW2 Bowden setups? Not that I'm aware of yet. Favorite build surface. My favorite build surface is the good old Prusa textured sheet. That is still my favorite build surface. Although I'm having really good luck so far with the satin finish on the OSEC sheet. I still like the textured better, but this is working really well. All I've done to this is 99% IPA before every print, and I haven't had anything lift. I've been printing the latest version of Stealth Burner for the switch wire, and a little bit of squish there. I've printed a few of these, but there's no lifting anywhere on this. And that's on the OSEC sheet. Charlie would love this drag chain. You're absolutely right. Put this in. And I love my purple glue stick, yes. And then this is going to need, does it say how many? No, it's not going to say how many links I need. But if I move this over, I go to like there. Yeah, let's pull it apart right there. And it goes to the underside of that. So that goes right there. No brim. No, I don't use a brim on anything, Sanity. If I have to use a... Okay, I take that back. I don't know if we can see it anymore. Oh, there. On this piece here, I printed this on the OSEC sheet. On this piece here, this is the surfaces on the build surface. That little thin feature there, I couldn't get to stick. Oops, sorry. That thin feature right there, I couldn't get to stick. I put a little rabbit mouse ear or whatever on that corner and it was fine. But other than that, I don't like to use brims, and I haven't had to for most of my prints. Yeah. Yeah, that was a very challenging feature. There we go. That one is not reaching. There we go. Okay. That will work. Drag chains, wires. We haven't done any wiring. We're gonna do the easy board. Where does that thing mount? That's kind of what I've been waiting to see. Encoder wires, all this wiring stuff we're gonna have to come back to. servo arm. And we'll do that in the setup section, okay? Is there anything in here about... This is all tool head sensor stuff, which we'll come back to. What we got? Well, let's do Galileo. So this is Afterburner. Let's start working on the Galileo toolhead then. While on the topic of Polylite ABS, what would be your tier list in terms of ABS brand and material in terms of printing duct material? I've done a lot of mine with Polymaker Polylite. Yeah, like this. This tool head is an older Afterburner tool head, but this is Polymaker's Polymax PC polycarbonate. I don't get any melting on the ducts with this, and I haven't noticed any with like regular ABS, but I haven't printed any in something else except for this. This Polymaker Polylite doesn't seem to have held up well. It may hold up better on a ABBN or Stealth Burner because there's some cooling to the ducts from the hot end fan. Okay, this is a complex system. We have the feeder, we have the tool head, I have a easy board to assemble. There's lots of things we could do right now. I think I'm going to assemble, at least start to assemble the Galileo clockwork. So this is the one I had assembled on stream for when I was building the Trident, the orange Trident. I'm going to use the guts from this to build one for the switch wire, but we're not going to put it on the switch wire. We're just kind of getting all the bits and pieces prepped for the final, getting it set up. So this is not a beginner build. We've got this to do. We've got an easy board to assemble. We need to rewire the switch wire, but I don't have the harness yet. So hopefully next week or the week after we'll be doing that. So first step in prepping any of these parts is just to make sure these printed really, settings are dialed on this, so very little top surface issues on this one. But I'm still going to run the file over it just to knock down anything. I haven't printed much in Hatchbox ABS. These surfaces don't matter as much, but... Okay, so let's set these over here. Let's disassemble this. I have a roll of Hatchbox ABS. I just haven't tried it yet. I've printed Hatchbox PLA. Hatchbox, I mean, it was fine. There's nothing really special to talk about. There's extra pieces over there. Hatchbox ABS prints okay, but the colors are kind of dull. I heard Hatchbox Red is really good, though. Maybe it was a different one I was thinking of. Oh, you hate the Hatchbox Red? Is it too salmon-y, or is there something about it specifically that you don't like? It runs really smooth. You can, it's probably canceling out, but you can hear the gearbox. Yeah, I like Prusa's ASA. It needs to be dried, though, for me to print well. I like my Sparta. That's ABS Plus. Go with the non-ball end here. There we go. Has to come out. There's a notch in there, so that has come almost all the way out. Okay. Oop. I was AFK during the Z calibration macros. I gotta say, I absolutely love it. Yeah, I like the Auto Z stuff. Okay, we are going to assemble this. So I need a bunch of heat set inserts. And I think I'm gonna have to grab, oh, there's a few more in here. Sparta is from Canada, yep. I have got quite a mess in front of me here, but we'll get through it. I'm going to use the old parts to remind myself where the heat sets go. Looks like just 4 into this piece. Okay. That's those. What is ASA good for better than ABS? It is UV resistant. There we go, what Chris said. Honest opinion on the ES126. This is not an ES126, an ES15. And I like it, I just forget to use it. That's the only problem I have with it, is I forget to use it. Okay, where else? Yeah. And here, I don't know if I'm going to end up using this one because I don't know what wire cover I'm going to be able to use on this, if any. I may not worry about it because at some, ooh, that was hot. At some point, I'm going to put a Clockwork 2 with this setup, and that'll have a wire cover that'll work. Because I'm going to use a tool head board on this, the ERCF version. So it may go sans wire cover for a while. Okay, I need more drink. I got this as a reward for finally pushing out all the 2.4 R2 stuff. It was in stock. I said, I deserve it. I did it. Okay, so this, we're going to put a bearing here. All of this, I'm just going to leave it because it's all already greased. That goes in there. And this is the is the LDO Galileo kit that I used here. That goes on there. And then which direction do I want these wires to go? Probably here. There we go. Stepper goes on there. And then I think this is the what do we got? What's your opinion on? I mean, can you say you forgot to use it? Well, what about when you do use it? It works. It's not, I mean, any of these are not super torquey, but for the stuff we're doing here, and once again, I forgot to use it, but for what we're doing here, it's fine. Let me use it right now. I mean, I've got it set to the highest torque rating. And then it's you couldn't hear that, but the ES15 has kind of an impact function at the end when it's almost tight. Just to confirm, just to make sure it's tight. Hey, Gadget Angel. So that is there, and that's turning well. Now, there's a spacer here that I'm not sure which side of the, maybe I can put this in here. I think that's how this goes, right? Yeah. Maybe I can fit this in to kind of get an idea of where that spacer goes. Ah. Throw this in here. What's that? Now, oh. Oops. Push this the rest of the way in. Oop, turn that off. There. Now let's see where this wants to sit. So the spacer would be on the end on this one. So put the spacer in there, and then that, and then going to line the filament path up, and I'm just doing that visually, and it looks pretty good right there. Tighten that. That in, and that one. Oh, pull the ES15 is the newest one. Now, from what I understand, the original maker did the ES121, right? And then someone cloned it to the ES126. So the ES15 is actually the next version of the ES121, right? Idler out. Yeah, ES121 though was also the original, and the ES126 is the successor, the actual successor to that. Now, this is a 5mm rod, right? Oh, no, 4. It's 4mm. Going to clean up this with a 4mm reamer. So that goes in better without splitting the plastic. There we go. Okay, that goes in there. And these are, so the Galileo does use the 8mm gears. It uses the same ones as the same ones as Orbiter used to use. I think Orbiter uses short ones now, but they are an 8mm shaft. See how large that is compared to this is a regular BMG right here, and these are still Bondtech, but they're the 8mm shaft version. Would hate to get off topic here, Steve, but do you have any good sources other than Amazon for 3mm foam? I think check the Trident sourcing guide for an LE link. There might be one there. Okay, so I need 3 more inserts. This is the Galileo extruder CMZ. Now this is, I'm probably gonna have to take some of this apart, because there is a sensor, a Hall effect sensor that goes in here. I'm just getting everything assembled right now, and then we'll work on the Hall effect sensor. There are 3 options right now for the tool head sensor for this for the ERCF. You can use a afterburner, you can use an LGX, or the Galileo. And I chose to use a Galileo on this for this build. The washer still needs to go in. All the stuff around that needs to go in. I'm mostly just making sure all the heat sets are in. I've got all the hardware. We'll work on that here in a second. One more. Okay. I'm guessing I'm gonna have the same consistency problem with the washers. So I'm going to order the recommended washers and see if those are any better. We'll go through the process here, and then I'll get the stuff we need in between streams. But this is the basic idea on the extruder assembly. So now that, minus the tension screw, which I have to find and figure out where I put one. That's the Galileo extruder. So now we can go back that we have this and start looking at what we need to do to prep for this. Now, where did I put... Let me figure out where I put the Hall effect sensors. I think that's these. I think that's here. You're welcome, Andy. Finally caught a live stream. Been binging the 2.4 R2 build. Copying the same color scheme? Yeah. I was pretty pleased with that. So these things are tiny. This is the Hall effect sensor. So let's see if I've got all of it. I mean, this was the one linked in the sourcing guide. Hopefully it's right. Wait, so if it needs an extruder, does that disengage once the filament is fed? Yes, it does disengage. So this is just a feeder mechanism. When this sensor that we're going to put in the tool head confirms that the filament has made it to past the drive gears, then this disengages. Do you have a favorite extruder? Right now, I'm really liking Clockwork 2. I printed all these parts on the latest version. And let's see if I can possibly, I don't know that I can get a bad lighting. Here, see if we can force some bad lighting. That's some pretty aggressive overhead lighting there. Is there a Galileo for stealth burner? Now you can run, remember you can run the stealth burner fan assembly on any afterburner tool head. So you use the stealth burner fan and the, oh, do I have one around that's not installed on a printer? Yeah. And the tool head itself, you run this with any of the, I've got a wire in the way, but with any of the afterburner extruders. So, issue 6 in VFA, should I just throw this in the trash? It might not be good enough, huh? Remember that Hall sensor is sensitive of the polarity of the magnet. Okay, I remember that from Nero's stream. You know what's the difference between orbiter and Galileo? Can you make Galileo out of orbiter? Yes. Yes, I believe you can use an orbiter. No, not the new ones. Sorry. The older orbiter stuff you could take the guts out of and use in a Galileo, but I don't think the new stuff you can. Clockwork 2 is still in beta, yes. Put this thing on here. Oops. Yeah, not the 2.0. The earlier one, the 1.5. The 2.0 went to shorter. I think the Bondtech gears are shorter. I did print the version with the fitting. I'm threading this on right now. There. Okay, we are going to... Which part is actually screwed to the carriage? Is it a Hotend part or the extruder part or both? So to the X carriage is mounted with these two fastener locations here, mounts to the X carriage, and then the Hotend the screws going through the bottom of the Hotend go into the carriage. Joker Nut, where did you get the divider for the screw bin? If you go to printables, now these are on Thingiverse as well, and you search for Acro, that should be enough. You search for Acro, you get the bin dividers for Acro mills, small parts organizers, and there you go. I'll paste that there for you. Okay, we are back to this. Where can I get the STL for Clockwork 2? Go to the Afterburner. So we've closed new entries into the beta. But if you want the files, you can go to the Afterburner GitHub repo and choose the SB -beta branch. I need my heat shrink. Heat shrink. Awesome. I printed a few. Okay, so heat shrink and a sensor, and there is a little printed part. I know I printed that. Where did I put it? Looking for the little jig to a little jig for this. I know I printed it, but I can't find it. Wiley will absolutely need a vacation. He has been working on that for a while. Where did I put that? Uh-oh. It's not here. Maybe Charlie took that one. That one I believe he took. I do not have any Delta printers. Where is that jig? I know for a fact I printed that. I remember taking it off the build surface. But I can't find it. And that's kind of critical. You guys don't see it anywhere, do you? Check the floor. Well, we might have to pivot to another part of this project, because that is necessary to move forward. Yeah, I'm going to put that there because that's the little lever for the servo. I've got the stepper jig, but do not see. We are looking for this piece here. My mouse go. There it is. This piece here. The it's a little alignment jig. It's tiny. It's a small printed part. And I know I printed it. I just can't find it. Bill Brothers, 3dsets.com. 3dsets.com is the buggy website. I think I printed it in black. I'm pretty sure I printed it in black. I could print it again. We are nearly at 3 hours. Why don't we... Well, I'm trying to think. Do I want to assemble a easy board or get this printing and we can just chat while it prints and then pick up next time? Yeah, print that part in a bright color. That's a good advice. Okay, well, I've got... Well, if it fell on the floor, it's because of Charlie. Maybe Charlie can find it. Where's it at, Charlie? Yes. Okay. Do I have... Last time I sliced this on the other computer, do I have a V0 profile on this thing? I do not. That is really puzzling because I know I printed that. Did it end up over here? I have stuff all over the place too because doing this rack, it's not just a tool to assist with soldering, it also sets the spacing. It seems like this distance, it sits into this pocket and this distance is critical. Let me check one more place before I give up. I may have been playing with it over here at my main desk. No, I don't see it. I'll just reprint it. I'll just reprint it. About to lose my screwdriver anyway, right? That's really puzzling. Yeah. Is it in the box by the ERCF? Not in that box, but I wonder if it's in one of these boxes. No, I don't see it anywhere. I'll just reprint it. Which machine is that behind me? So this is my original V2. I've been doing little bits and pieces to it. That's the test print. Yeah. Nope. It's really, really weird. Make sure it's not caught up in some other piece. Yeah, I don't see it. Next to the bolt. No. Nope. It's a pretty small print. I'll just reprint it. Let's look at, so next time we'll finish that up. I've got a, oh, bye Charlie. This is the easy board. So just bare PCB that'll get all these components. This won't take too long to assemble. Underneath here is a bunch of microfit connectors. Yeah, I don't see any of it. I don't see it over there. Anyway, it's exactly where I haven't looked. And then there's a ERCF toolhead board that needs to be assembled as well. So I think next stream will be all of the electronics associated with getting this working. We'll be soldering. Next stream will be soldering. I should build a little solder fan fume thing. Will you teach us how to solder? I can give tips on how I solder circuit boards. I don't know if I would call it teaching, but I'll give some of my methods, which I'm sure could be picked apart by people who probably know proper techniques versus what you pick up over 30 years of soldering. If I don't have a fan, I won't hear the end of it. I can't just hold my breath. Does anybody, if anybody has a good DIY fume control solution that you like, post it in the comments after this. What's that little flat piece of metal you finish your heat sets with? I use a handle with some tweezers, but want something with a girth certificate. This is the brass jaws that are an optional part for my pan of ice. So these would bolt in here, and I just have these, and it's just a nice convenient block of metal, flat metal, that I can just grab and push against a heat set. Solder fume control solution, Sanity. How do you manage to only work on a project 3 hours a week on stream and not whenever you have some time? I work on other things. I work on a lot of other things. This is just what the active project for stream. There's plenty of other things I'm working on. So for instance, and this isn't a planned project, but I had to troubleshoot, Charlie, I had to troubleshoot my purple Trident this week because I was using it and I heard zit, zit, zit and saw a bunch of smoke coming out the bottom of it. So I hit the power and was troubleshooting what was going on. And it turns out I fried a stepper driver. That was one thing I worked on this week. So what troubleshooting this and looking, this ended up being the extruder driver. And the extruder driver, and one of the pins on the JST connector going into the controller board was loose. And that's the only thing that would have caused that. It ended up taking out the stepper, the extruder stepper as well. I got labeled bad now. But fortunately, I didn't take anything else out. I replaced the driver on the board and still had this in there, couldn't get it to extrude. So I plugged just a dummy stepper in there and it would stepper buzz just fine. So I replaced it. And now, and then after all of that, after everything was replaced is when I printed this. So it's working good now. But yeah, it was very audible. And then smoke coming out the front of the printer, all from this. And this thing, it's stinky. Steve, I got the perfect solder fume extractor for you. Uses one of the 60mm skirts fans and an exhaust filter media sheets. Perfect. Let's do some YouTube engagement and post a link to it in the comments after this. Big yawn from Charlie. He is ready for attention. Can you disassemble on stream and show us how it looks inside if it's broken? Oh, yeah, we can take this apart. Here, you want to take it apart now? Charlie, I need some room. Let's take it apart now. What kind of screws do we have here? This thing is toast, so a couple of Phillips screws. So those two. Let's see if I can. There we go. So two very, very small. What are those? Probably, are those M2s? I think pull off the back cap. We'll get an idea of what's the bearing state on this side. Oop. Oh, now it won't turn because we're not supporting that back bearing. Let me get a good look at this. See if we can see anything right now. I don't smell anything in here. Oh, okay. So this plastic insulator there. fairly thin wire. A couple of weird loops around there. What do we got? See if we can pull the stator out. Oh, there's that wave washer right there. So that's what the spring washer. Anybody ever wanted to see what? Oh, that's a nice large bearing on the front. All this is magnetized. Set this over here. What do we have in here? I can't really see what might have caused it from this view. I could probably run the multimeter and see if there's there's an open on either of the pairs. But yeah, that's what the inside of one of these looks like. Check if the coil's shorted together. Let me see if I can get... Let's see what we can check. Can't break. Yeah, there's not much, but it does not work. It absolutely does not work. See if I can get in here. So that settles on 11.656 ohms on that pair. Huh. It actually... I mean, there's... I don't know why it didn't work. I honestly have no idea why it didn't work. Do we have... Nothing there. Nothing there. Yeah. Well, my troubleshooting process was, I just tried printing because I had no idea. I still had trouble with the stepper and it wouldn't extrude. So I observed the stepper, the gears, and it was kind of vibrating but not extruding. So I shut down the printer, plugged in just I think I plugged in just this stepper because it has the same connector, and powered everything back up, and then did a stepper buzz, and this moved in the proper stepper buzz process. It moved back and forth a millimeter or whatever. So at that point, oh, and I had tried a stepper buzz on this as well. At that point, I assumed that this was bad. So I swapped it and it's printing fine. So that this is testing the pairs consistently between the pairs is kind of interesting. I could try plugging it in somewhere, get it back together and plug it in somewhere and see if it does a stepper buzz or anything. So I don't know. Let me see if we can get this back together. So very gently. Try to work that in. There we go. And then the insulator back on there. And the rear cover. Once that's on, Let's get the screws back in here. Put these magnets away. I've heard that you can damage the magnets by taking them apart like this, and it won't print properly again. I don't know how much of a problem that is. It turns now just fine. So it's in its right spot. It'll still work. I've heard that you could potentially get a reduced torque out of it. But I will not write this off. I'll plug it into something and test it. No, it's not sealed, Sanity. These aren't sealed, so there wouldn't be any gas in there that's of any importance. There might be some higher end stepper type servos or steppers, servo, whatever, that might do that, but these don't. So I don't have an easy way right here to plug that in. So I'll just try it and I'll let you know. I'll let you know next week. But it's really puzzling because it absolutely wasn't working right. And all I did was at the tool head, swapped, tested with this stepper. And then when it worked, I just installed one of the, this is a 17 millimeter version, the narrower one. I installed one of the 20 millimeter versions in there. If you see here, that's the difference there. The stepper is bad, it can burn the driver again. Yeah, I'll test it on something that doesn't matter. But yeah, this was worth it to take this apart. Yeah. For CW2, can you talk about the round NEMA motor that we need and Moons versus LDO motor? I have no experience with the Moons motors. I don't know how well they work or whatever. All I've ever owned on these are the LDO, the 17 millimeter and the 20 millimeter. You want the 20 millimeter. I need to set up a little station, like a test station with a board and a Pi that I can just plug things in to test. So we'll see. We'll see if this works. Moons, Moons aren't just Stepper Online. Moons is a different company. They make some pretty high-end stuff, but apparently they OEM for some folks as well, because some of the Creality stuff says Moons on them. So I placed an order from Nero's merchant store, the shirt. I like that the print on it is thin. It's not that hot, thick print. The fit is a little tight for the size, I thought, at least in my experience. And then I bought just a sticker to go along with it. Sounds like you need an Arduino and a 29. Oh, I don't necessarily need an Arduino. I've got SKR 1.3, Octopus, what is this? An S6, a Spider. I can find a board I can use for a test. You still have that giant t-shirt. Yes, I washed it too. It's not quite small enough to wear. Did you sacrifice any other hobbies to get into 3D printers? Not really. When I got into 3D printers, I had just come off, I don't know if you saw Nero's interview or the interview I did with Nero. I had just come off of being on a big project for work. Prior to that, I spent a lot of time playing video games, WoW in particular. So 3D printing kind of was a very much more fulfilling and stimulating replacement for that. Steve, you got the camera you showed on stream a few weeks ago. Quality is superb, but the big IC on the board gets pretty hot. Have you noticed that with yours as well? On the, I haven't noticed on the HV, whatever the whatever those cameras are I'm using on the, that I installed on stream a few weeks ago. Is that what you're talking about? I haven't looked to see if they get hot. Oh, you made this. Yeah, I like it. Good job. RC cars, I don't think I've sacrificed. I've always gone in surges on playing with RC cars. I just haven't gotten back to it yet. See ya, Chris. DJ Natty, feel free to DM me if you have any questions on that. Yeah, that OV camera, I haven't thought to look to see if it gets hot or whatever. It seems to work. Every time I look for them, they're running. So. Yep. Okay, so let's wrap up. The main hardware installation appears to be done. Now we need some electronics. We're going to next stream or two, we'll be assembling the easy board and a tool head board and the Hall effect sensor into the Galileo clockwork. We're going to spend some time retrofitting or reverting my switch wire back to direct drive and probably a whole stream on this stuff and rewiring it. And then we'll get into mounting this and start configuring it. Now, there might be some interruptions there in the streams, depending on what other projects come in, but yeah, and I need to assemble I want to do the rep box on stream and get it mounted on the wall. So 3D printable RC planes. There's quite a few out there that I hear are pretty good. P3 Trident together. We may have a Trident build coming up pretty soon. Be careful when you look for those laptop-based cameras. Be aware that not all of them have a long enough USB cable that comes with them to be useful. You may have to extend it or look for one that has one long enough. The WaveShare one that I used, that I installed on a few streams ago, that one has a long enough cable, but there is a wide angle version that I'm trying that I need to extend the cable on. I'm trying the wide angle because the Trident needs a little wider angle. Thanks, Stuart. This is why we're here, so I can interact. If the build takes longer because I'm paying attention to chat, then that's a good thing. So, yeah, I think it's 120-degree field of view on that camera, Sanity. So I've been pretty pleased with those cameras so far. So I'm going to continue to put them in. I guess with that, let's wrap it up. We've been a little over 3 hours today. Hopefully we'll be back on this. One way or another, we'll be on a project next week. It may be this, it may be something else. We shall see. It'll probably be this. So with that, thanks again. I hope everyone has a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Talk to you later. Bye.